Welcome everyone. Today I'll be taking a look at the brand new title Pokémon Legends Arceus. This is the preview for the upcoming installment in the main series. It's set to launch on Friday, January 28th. My greatest passion in gaming is Pokemon. I spent over a decade as a competitive battler and I drifted away from the main series entries, but this one has captured my imagination like no other. I feel like a kid in a candy store looking at all the gameplay footage and information that's available to us, and what I hope to do is convey some of that enthusiasm with all of you and the things that I'm most looking forward to in this title. So if that all sounds good to you, please leave a thumbs up on this video and subscribe to the channel. The biggest draw for Pokemon Legends Arceus is the exploration. It takes place in the Hisui region, which nearly all of it can be explored. While not entirely open world, there are boundaries that divide the different areas. It presents us with a vast wilderness to explore for different climates as well as different times of day, and along with that, different Pokemon species that inhabit them. Our mission is to complete the very first Pokédex. So this is an origin story, and the entire world of Pokemon is largely unknown, and it's our task to make all of these discoveries for our very own. And that's part of the magic that is being restored to this game. The original creator of Pokemon, Satoshi Tajiri, drew upon the inspiration from his childhood in collecting bugs in rural Japan. He studied the animal's behavior and patented unique methods for collecting them to the amazement of his friends, and earned the nickname Dr. Bug. So when we look at the footage for Pokemon Legends Arceus, it's perhaps the most faithful representation of the initial dream that he had all those years ago. The early magic that defined the Pokemon series was the endearment to the creatures that composed the game. Being their little 2D sprites, they showed so much expression, and each of us fell in love with different species of Pokemon. And in the transition to 3D games with more recent generations, a lot of that endearment got lost in translation. And all of that is being restored right now, because what we're finding is that with this task for completing the first Pokédex in the region, we're observing the behaviors of these Pokemon. So they each have different representations that are uniquely appropriate to the species in question. For example, the very first Pokemon that we come across when we start our journey is a Bidoof, and it's completely impervious to our presence. It's ambivalent to us being there, and they can be captured very easily. But other Pokemon are more skittish, such as the wild bird Starly, in which as soon as they spot you, they'll go to flee, and we have to approach them either stealthily or engage in a Pokemon battle to maintain their attention in order to capture them. And yet still there are other species which are immediately combative, and they will go to attack the character. The player yourself can receive damage from these Pokemon, and if you receive too much damage, you go all the way back to the rest camp. So we're forced to dodge these attacks and call upon our own Pokemon to do battle and capture these Pokemon. In addition to these functional behavioral traits that represent each Pokemon, there's also visually represented behaviors that are unique for each one, such as Pokemon sleeping and their behaviors for doing that. Like I said, we've seen the Shinx sleeping in the meadows, as well as the Chimchar sleeping on the cliff, in which the flame is extinguished, just like the Pokédex entry in Diamond and Pearl. It's this attention to detail for each of the Pokemon's unique traits that will make encountering each one and completing the tasks associated with obtaining complete research for every Pokemon that much more fulfilling, and is a way to amplify the endearing and unique qualities of each of these Pokemon that had been initially lost in translation through its transition to 3D modeling. And what we've seen also with Pokemon Legends Arceus is that the 3D models of Pokemon within a species will vary. Their size can be unique, so that we'll be charting the range of size that each species can come across in the wild. And that will go towards information in the Pokédex, and they'll be visually represented on screen as being larger or smaller relative to other members of their own species, in addition to the fan favorite shiny hunting. And since this is an open world game where we are encountering these Pokemon on the map face to face, we can see the shiny Pokemon face to face, seemingly repel other species, and each Pokemon has an affinity to certain kinds of food, and that's information that we can learn and add to the Pokédex that will also make it easier to interact with a specific species that we're trying to target. And it's this kind of comprehensive, complete, holistic view of the world that makes this game, more than any other Pokemon game before this, feel terrestrial, as if these Pokemon are truly a part of our world and we have an interaction going on here in an incredibly immersive way. We won't be tasked with exploring this vast land on our own. We'll also have access to certain Pokemon that can help us traverse the wild. The 3 that have been revealed before release are Weirdeer, which can travel across the land, and it can even climb up hills and some mountains to an extent. Hisui and Braviary can search from the skies above. We can spot small little Pokemon from above and plot points on the map where we want to land, and to provide us with advantageous points for approaching and encountering these Pokemon, as well as the brand new Basculin evolution, Basculegion, to travel the seas. What's unique about Basculegion, we've seen from the footage, is that we are able to throw Pokeballs from its back, so that we're actually able to snipe Pokemon on the land as we're traveling on water. And there are still other Pokemon that can help us traverse the land that have not been revealed before the time of release. The traversal with these Pokemon can be done seamlessly, so we can go from flying in the air to riding on the back of Weirdeer on the land. And there's consequences if the transition between these things is too harsh, and the character can take damage. If we land from Braviary too fast, we can take damage. If we essentially fall from the sky, so to speak, or if we jump off of a mountain, we can take too much damage for ourselves and the Pokemon helping us to traverse the land. The seamless flow is seen in other aspects of the game, particularly with the user interface, or UI, that's available in the traditional Pokemon experience. As we level up our Pokemon, they are able to learn new moves, and we're always stopped with the action and prompted to ask us what our choice of action is in developing that Pokemon's moveset. However, in Pokemon Legends Arceus, they've taken that seamless flow of gameplay that is seen in the map and carried that over into the RPG elements of Pokemon, so that we are able to level up and have moveset prompts on the side, but they don't interrupt the experience. We have to go into the menus and make all of that customization for ourselves. So if we are truly immersed in what we're doing, if we're hunting down a certain species of Pokemon or just exploring the beautiful wilderness, those minor details don't interrupt the experience, and we can just stay zoned in to what we're focusing on at any given time. There are even further quality of life differences that exist for Pokemon Legends Arceus, in that the entire learn set of the Pokemon is available to us at any time. We don't have to go tracking down any particular NPCs or have certain items to prevent evolution. All these options are available to us at any time, and this provides the most open and strategic experience, since we can actually adjust our moveset in between each battle, meaning that each situation is fully customizable based on the capabilities abilities and situation of the Pokemon that you are encountering. Most of the items that we'll be obtaining in this game will come by way of crafting, from resources that we can obtain and generate within the environment itself, and the seamlessness of these actions can be seen in the menus for crafting Pokeballs and other items that we'll need for our journey. The battle system has been completely reworked so that encounters are now more dynamic than ever. Most of these encounters will come by way of wild Pokemon as well as boss Pokemon in the forms of Alpha Pokemon, which is kind of like a mini boss that are available on the map, and Noble Pokemon, which will in their frenzied form present the opportunity to be the major boss battles of this game. Most of the moves have been reworked and refined, as well as the inclusion of some new moves into the game and the introduction of two new styles, the Agile style and the Strong style, which each do different things strategically. The Agile style uses twice as many power points for your move, and it changes the order so that your Pokemon can get in successive hits before the enemy Pokemon can retaliate. The Strong style is a bit different. It will look to land a decisive hit, and if it fails to do so, will leave you vulnerable for perhaps more than one turn. That's in addition to the conventional way of selecting moves that only require one power point. Therefore, each encounter will be tailored to the situational needs of what Pokemon are available to you, as opposed to what your goal is in that particular fight and what threat that Pokemon presents to your unique party. Being that my background comes from competitive battling, the changes to the battle system are among the most intriguing for me with this title, and I look forward to exploring that and detailing that in future content. Trainer battles will be limited in scope in this game, and that makes sense according to the setting that we are inhabiting in this game, and that is being an origin story, and Pokemon are largely unknown to the population. And that brings us into looking at what the plot may be for this game. We know that Hisui is based on the region of Sinnoh, and the legendary Pokemon that oversee Sinnoh are Dialga and Palkia, the rulers of time and space, respectively, as well as the title character Arceus, which is the god of all Pokemon, and it's still unclear what his role is in the game, but it is imaginable that he will be the final encounter for us. Whether that will be a part of the main story or a post-game arc remains to be seen. Given the region's lore, it is certainly not a stretch to imagine that space and time travel could be part of the plot elements for this game. Time will tell as soon as we can get our hands on it. That's something that we can experience for ourselves. Some things that I would love to see in this game by way of plot, but also with the world building element, is we talked about Pokemon and their unique behaviors, and along with that, certain species we could imagine would be more likely to form swarms. Think of like a flock of geese or a herd of deer. And it would be nice to see certain species of Pokemon swarm, and perhaps that could also increase our chance for observing a shiny form of that species. But to think of the grandeur of what it would be like to have Pokemon by the dozens stampeding across the wilderness right in front of our faces would be a true spectacle that would speak to the greatest condition that Pokemon could inhabit in a game such as this. In addition to that, the progression of the settlements with which we inhabit in the game, it would be nice to see at the start of our research it to be relatively down-to-earth, bare bones, and as we learn things about the world and do our research, it would be nice to see the world around us develop to, in a way, reward our progression through the game with increased interactions with NPCs as well as shops, or just rather infrastructure in general that's available to us. Having all of that being done on the side, since we are absolutely dedicated in our task for completing this Pokédex. And one thing that really stands out to me with this game is that we can complete these tasks at our own leisure. So we can really form our own experience in how we interact with this world. Still remains to be seen how the plot will interact with our own missions and side quests, as well as our own exploration of the world. Those are all things we can look forward to diving in together when the game is finally released. So I hope you all are as excited about this new release as I am. It's something that's been a budding interest of mine, and I look forward to sharing everything that we learn both here on the channel as well as the Discord server. I'll put an invitation link in the description below so we can all share our experiences playing Pokemon Legends Arceus together. An entire world of familiar Pokemon as well as new Pokemon and new forms of Pokemon in these various habitats are set to be explored by all of us, and I'm so much looking forward to it. I do hope you all enjoy it, and I can't wait to dive in myself. Take care, everyone.